Hi, Eliza.
Thanks so much for having me, Hayley.
I'm so excited to chat. It was such a fun episode to watch last night. How does it feel watching it back? It was such a big blindside, it felt like.
I had the best time ever. Like me and my family were pissing ourselves. And I think that it just was such a great representation of like my big heart, big brain, and a bit of a snippet of how I would have taken the game a little bit further.
Watching it, you definitely weren't a quiet third boot. You popped. We got to see you in action playing the game. How blindsided were you by that moment? You seemed pretty shocked.
Well, I knew that something seriously wrong was taking place during that scramble. When Jackson said that his name was being thrown out, did not make sense to me at all. And then when the Law's name was thrown out, even when it was legitimate, I felt in my tummy that that felt off to me. And especially during that tribal, uh, the tide started to turn, and you get that all-encompassing feeling of like, something is not right, something is quite wrong. But I wasn't fully certain that it was going to be me. I was thinking like the Jackson of it all, but then I was like, but that would be so dumb if it was Jackson. So this is what's happening in my brain. Look, having a blind side or having such a big blind side like that is one of those the most amazing moments that you can have on Survivor. And it was, it feels like you're being struck by lightning.
Wow.
Yeah.
I think that's the way you want to go. You either want to go in an epic.
Hayley, can I just interrupt you? Going the way I went is not the way I wanted to go. Okay,
How
like,
did you want to go?
well, I certainly didn't want to go in the way that I did. How do I want to go? I want to go out in flames. I want to go out like causing damage. I want to blow up the game. I want to like I don't want to go out at all. Like, and I know that lots of players sit here and being like, "What an honor to be blindsided." I'm like, "Yes, sure, it is an honor, but now I have it. More, please. I want more, please."
Yeah, I mean, and what I was saying was that you either want to go out, I think, in a
Go on.
blind side or in a blaze of glory. You don't want to go out just knowing it's you and not doing anything to keep yourself in the game. That's
Mm,
my thoughts in terms of like how you want to go out. But yes, it would have been more
mm.
fun if you could have stayed a bit longer.
Or in a fire making challenge. I think that going out like that would be amazing as well.
Yeah. And I mean, it felt like you struggled to find your footing in the tribe, I guess. Jackson was telling you that, you were on the bottom of the tribe.
Yeah.
Why do you think that was? What didn't we see?
What you didn't see was that I was quite unwell. Say, for instance, during that scramble, most of that scramble I was spent with the medical team. And so I was unable to get a hold of where the scramble was at that time. Also with the footing of the game, like a lot of that was my strategy in the early game. I wanted to have my goal of my first 14 days was to have one to lock in one ride or die, which I was able to do, and to be friends with everyone, to establish connections with everyone, and to not draw my line in the sand too quick. Yeah. In the first 3 days, I was just trying to be open to having conversations with absolutely everyone. I think when you see that footage of Harry saying Lyndl, Richard, and myself are kind of on the outs, like I believe that my health implicated that strategy for him.
Wow, that's such a shame. I mean, to be sick in the early parts of the game, which is so crucial in terms of forming relationships,
Yeah.
that must have been really tough.
It is, but Survivor is a game of brutal first impressions. And as much as you want people to be able to understand, I'm like all fair. you're allowed to use this, you're not allowed to use this. Like, go for it. You hope that they because they don't know what a powerhouse player I am. They don't know what a big brain I am. Like, and how are they supposed to understand that if I'm just rolling around like a grub on the floor being like, help me, help me. Yeah, yeah, it's just one of those things. I certainly don't want it to be a part of my Survivor story because at the end of the day, it's Survivor. It's the Olympics. You go and you get it done however you can. Um, yeah, it was a shame, and I felt like I gave such like a great episode when I was arguably at my worst. I can't wait to show them what I can do at my best.
Yeah, we saw that you went to Lyndall in the middle of the night and revealed some information to her. Can you tell me about that moment? Why do you think Lyndall reacted in that way?
Yeah, look, she wasn't asleep, by the way. I am a good enough Survivor player to know that you don't wake anyone up. She was already awake. It had been raining that night, and she was shuffling around, getting herself comfortable. Um, and she had already been awake during that night as well. I love to play at night, and a lot of my nights were spent, either strategizing, talking to Harry, like being up, like mending the fire. And a part of my game was to play at night. I loved the idea of everyone thinking that I was a big dork, and that I could have very private conversations. The Lyndall of it all. Look, I'm a huge Survivor fan, and I'm really smart. So you anticipate that there's going to be lots of smart super fans out there. You don't anticipate that um, there's going to be personal offense taken by, I guess, when you have conversations at night. And I was giving her true information. Information is currency, and I really thought that that would be a great way to establish trust with her, especially because the first day on the mat, I had told her where that idol clue was. Okay, so there had already been a relationship of me offering up some key pieces of information to her. Whether she already knew in her gameplay that there was an idol there, I don't know. But I certainly directed her to that first idol.
How did you know?
Because I'm a super fan and I'm a great strategist. Of course, there's always going to be a clue at the end when they isolate one player, in a big opening match like that. There's going to be an idol there. Um, and I was excited to be able to help her play because it was clear that I knew more about the game than she did, and I was just trying to get her on side. I don't even know. Do you reckon that was a mistake, Hayley? Like what like
Telling Lyndall?
no. I mean, I guess in just well, it obviously was a mistake, but I guess the informa it was obviously like an it just sort of was like I'm playing a game about social strategy where information is your currency in this game. And she didn't take that well, did she?
Yeah, I don't see it as a mistake strategically in another circumstance with another player. It might have worked out and you could have come together, you're telling someone that has an idol, you could have done something with that. But I guess the mistake was the judgment call in terms of reading Lyndall and how she would react to that information.
Yeah, and I also understood she had no idea where she was in the tribe. She was down the bottom and she thought she was at the top. So part of me understanding at that coffee and donut reward, I was like, I'm in a lot of trouble here. I have Jackson, but I need another quick. And I knew that Linda was being lied to a lot. Paula was throwing her name out a lot, and Lyndl was under the impression that she was a locked-in ally. So I wanted to make Lyndl aware that she was not aware of where she was in the tribe. Coming at it like that obviously was too much information too quickly for Lyndl. And I also knew I did know. I know she had an idol. I made them the error of believing that it was her and Harry that had that idol together. Um, But yeah, it was obviously way too much too fast, but I didn't have that time. I knew that I was in trouble.
Yeah. And I mean, when you were blindsided, when you went out, I'm sure your head was spinning. Did you have any idea that this move would have started with Lyndl?
Yeah. Well, she was definitely up there because she was one of the pieces of the puzzle for me. Um I thought it had much more to do with Jackson. Jackson was a really key piece in that tribe to a lot of different players. So with me separated from him, he was up for grabs. And I think that I grabbed Jackson knowing what a valuable piece of the board that he was going to be. And I just hadn't done a good enough job of aligning myself with the other players. So it was who wants to date Jackson next?
When it came to Lyndall, and obviously you told her this information that she didn't really appreciate, did you read it in the moment that you'd made a mistake, like that she wasn't taking to it well or wasn't necessarily believing what you were telling her?
I anticipated her to be a little bit shocked or a little bit maybe confused because I knew that I was enlightening her with information that she didn't know. Um, I certainly got the vibe that it wasn't well received when she never spoke to me again.
So the vibe shifted immediately.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I was like, but in my mind, I couldn't see that. In my mind, I was genuinely coming to her with genuine information, um, that had backing and receipts. So, to me, I just thought maybe she needed some time to settle on that, as I would if I received that information. But her upset was more about when I delivered that news to her rather than what the news actually was, which to be honest, sitting here, I can't believe, and I would have never foresaw that because she was already awake. I would never wake a player up. I would never wake a player up. I'm not like, she was already awake. So just giving her that gorgeous, gorgeous platter of information, I just didn't think that she would not like you can have a problem with the information that I give you, but I really didn't anticipate that me talking to her for 3 or 4 minutes before she went to bed was going to make that much of a difference.
And obviously, you're playing with returnees. What was your reaction to seeing the returnees on day one?
Not happy, Hayley. Not happy. Not happy. Not a happy girl. I had enjoyed Brain versus Brawn 2 so much, and I kind of really felt like I deserved that experience of being a newbie running around the jungle, working it out myself. Of course, being the super fan that I am, seeing Mark and Simon was a huge, like, they're best friends. I know that they're best friends. I know that they had been hanging out and like communicating quite early towards the game. I knew that Harry and Simon were going to be working together no matter what. And it's redemption, right? So for a certain extent, the super fan and the storyteller and the writer in me goes, we're going to need to hear 4 returnee redemption stories. They can't all go night one. We're gonna have to play ball with them. And I decided like you got to work with them. As much as I didn't want them to be there, knowing that a jury could be 9, 10 people and there's 4 returnees, in my mind, my strategy, you had to be a +1 of 4. So the 4 returnees, you got to be a +1 of one of the returnees. That makes a jury of 8 and one more. Like that's how you get to the jury. It's no longer a game of how to make alliances and stuff. These 4 are crucial to getting to that jury
Why?
because they are so good, they are so smart, they are so brilliant at what they do. They're getting there, they know what they're doing, and they're also friends. You know what I mean? They already have these beautiful established connections that can absolutely just like that's not something that I was scoffing at. I needed to play with them. And like it really changed the game for the newbies. We were fish in a barrel and they were just like bang, 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 bang.
Watching the episode back, I guess, was there anything that surprised you that you didn't realize was going on?
No. I guess that idol swap was so funny. I loved it. I loved that idol swap sequence. And I had the best time. I thought that was just such great TV. Watching Brooke and Lyndl struggle with that tension, like I felt bad for them, like, but that was so great. Like, that was such a fun day. Oh, by the way, how close was that challenge? Like, that's what I mean. That's what I mean. Like, it was literally, it is as close as it was, and it was one coconut. So not only if I had survived that night, if I had survived that coconut, I would still be in the game. Like, it's just one of those absolutely poetic things that Jackson was the one that was so devastated knowing that his performance was going to send someone home, but he didn't realize it was going to be me. It was that close. Like, it was really, really, it's just the brutality and the poetry of a game like Survivor. Like, you work your ass off and your game can go with one coconut.
Yeah, we saw how devastated he was at Tribal Council as well, seeing you go. Let's get to the quickfire questions. Who was your favorite person on the tribe?
Jackson.
Who had the most annoying habit and what was it?
Probably beautiful Cameron and his snoring. Sorry, Cameron, love you.
Which returnee from this season would you have liked to have played more with?
Mark.
Proudest moment of the game?
I'm getting Jackson on my side within a day.
Most embarrassing moment of your game?
I'm clapping when no one else clapped on the mat. But come on, we play Survivor.
What song sums up your time on Survivor?
Both Sides Now by Joni Mitchell. I've looked at Survivor from both sides now, you know?
Would you ever play Survivor again?
Yeah. My time's not done. I need a redemption of my redemption.
If you could be on any reality show, what would you be on? Big Brother, The Traitors, MasterChef, The Amazing Race, or I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here?
I'm a celebrity.
What celebrity would you want to see play Australian Survivor?
Oh, I would love a bachelor. We've already had a Survivor player become a bachelor. I want to see one of the bachelors come on to the island.
Which one?
I think Matt would be pretty amazing. Matt Agnew. He's actually Lyndl's partner, and so I kind of want to see how he would play.
Describe your Survivor legacy in 3 words.
Unfinished business, baby.
And you're a writer. What would the Survivor chapter in your life be called?
Dorcas Schmorcas, to be continued. It's a bestseller, don't you think?
I mean, it writes itself. Thank you so much, Eliza. It's been so great chatting. I mean, I wish we could have seen more of you after last night's episode.
Oh, it's been an absolute privilege. Thanks, Hayley.
Bye.
This is